Hi everyone, I hope you enjoyed the previous video on the integration of the lateral dimension. Today we will focus on sensorium. What is sensorium? Sensorium refers to the incorporation of the 5 senses of learning. We must remember to incorporate the use of all our students' sensory impulses when we lesson plan. We need the students to see and listen, hear, smell, and, if possible, touch and taste the new information. We also need to understand how the eye, ear and hand relate to the dominant brain half. That is why it is crucial to know the eye, ear, and hand's dominances. Let us begin by looking at the visual dominance of the student. It is incredibly beneficial to know which eye is the dominant eye, especially if your student is homolateral. Each eye has a different function. The functions of the right eye include the following: 1. It reads from left to right, which is perfect. 2. It focuses on detail which is needed for study. 3. It has no problem focusing near. In other words, the right eye is the ideal eye for school. It would be even better if the student is left brain dominant because our impulses move crossover, and this eye, therefore, communicates better with the left side of the brain. The characteristics of the left eye include: 1. It reads from right to left. This is not very ideal. The brain has to adjust itself. Reading may be problematic, and you may see a reversal of letters or numbers. B will become D, and 43 can easily be seen as 34. 2. This eye focuses on the big picture. We need to see the detail when we study. 3. It focuses far away, and for study, it is better to focus up close. The left eye is, therefore, not the ideal eye for school. It will have even more issues if it is a left brain dominant student. If the student is right brain dominant, many details may be lost with reading information only once. The student will have to read a passage more than once. In this video, I will focus on the characteristics, and in a follow-up video, I will explain the profiles in more detail. This brings us to the ears. We need to determine the auditory dominance of our students. Especially if your student is homolateral, each ear has a different function. The right ear listens to what is being said. It focuses on detail, and it is perfect for study. Remember, we have to look at the dominant brain half. More about that later. The left ear listens to the intonation of the words. In other words, it listens to how people speak to them instead of what they are saying. It focuses on the big picture, and it is not that ideal for school. A student with this ear dominance finds it hard to do note-taking in class. This brings us to fine motor dominance. We do not need to know the dominance of the hand for study. With this statement, I am not implying the hand dominance is not essential. Oh, boy, it is vital. Sometimes a student will not use the dominant hand to write. Sometimes, a student writes with the right hand, but the left hand turns out to be the dominant hand. Many students were forced to write with the right hand in the old days, even if their left hands were their dominant hands. Let's get back to here and now. You, as a teacher, need to focus on the hand the child chose to write with when it comes to helping the student with the study process. Sport is a whole different ball game. In cricket, we find that many children will not bat with their dominant hands. They prefer the other hand. The reason for this relates to the dominance of the brain. The brain communicates better with the hand on the opposite side. If you bat, you have to make split-second decisions. Therefore, the brain overrides the dominant hand because communication to the dominant hand will be slower if on the same side as the dominant brain. For now, we are only focusing on writing and studying. Each hand has a different function. The right hand is responsible for fine motor skills and focuses on detail. This hand is ideal for the study if the student is left brain. The left hand is responsible for gross motor skills and focuses on the big picture. This is not the perfect hand for study. Lastly, we have to look at the foot dominance. I never thought that foot dominance could be vital until I received an email from one of my professors at the University of South Africa, informing me of fascinating research done in my field of study. We must know which foot is the dominant foot, especially if it is homolateral and even more so if the student is right brain dominant. It influences the level of procrastination of a student. If foot dominance is on the same side as brain dominance, the student will be a very successful procrastinator. I will do it later, or I will do it tomorrow. Then, later never comes. We need to eliminate procrastination. We, therefore, have to incorporate time management into daily activities to teach these students how to manage their time effectively. Practice makes perfect. This brings us to the end of this video. It would be highly beneficial to know these characteristics, even with your child or children's upbringing. If you have a child with a left ear, you need to understand that they cannot take in all the information at once. If you ask them to fetch something for you, make sure to repeat yourself or ask them to repeat what they need to bring. Otherwise, they will forget what they were supposed to fetch. If something distracts them, they may even forget entirely about you and your list, not because they are naughty. It is because of the left ear. The child with the right ear will take in all the information at once and sometimes even return with everything on your list and a coffee cup if you are a mommy like me. I love my coffee. It also does not help to yell at a right ear child. They do not listen to intonation. They listen to what you say. But on the contrary, the left ear child listens much better when you raise your voice slightly. They work well with intonation. In the next video, I will explain different scenarios to you regarding the different unique learning profiles to make your students more understandable. Happy teachings. Annie.